Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EJG3 show. This is your host, Eddie Gallagher. I am here today with Sean McConnell. Sean, welcome to the show.
Happy to be on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we got some wild news, man. Mike Tomlin steps down as the Pittsburgh's head coach. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
I wasn't really surprised. I truthfully think that they should have moved on from him a couple of years ago. I think it was time for both sides. I do think that he's a good coach. However, I think given their current roster construction with an older team, they don't really have any sort of long-term solution at quarterback. Might be best just to kind of hit the reset button there.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird, man. Tomlin steps down, Harbaugh steps down. Change of the tide of the AFC North. Uh, but look, I think Tomlin's a good coach? Absolutely. But do I think Pittsburgh needed a change? 100%. Mike Tomlin's a defensive guy, and they spent all their money on defense. And, Pittsburgh fans, they wanted some juice on the offensive side. They just didn't really get it. I mean, you had Mitchell Trubisky, you had Aaron Rodgers, you had, what's the quarterback's name?
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, exactly. You never had your Kenny Pickett. You
Yep.
tried to have him as your franchise quarterback, but just never really worked out. Now I don't know whose fault is it. Is it Tomlin's or was it the general managers? I'm not sure. I mean, I remember when they selected Pickett, the general manager stepped down.
hmm
So I just don't know whose fault was it. I mean, I think Mike Tomlin overachieved with the teams that he had. He did
hmm
more with less, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to win playoff games. I believe the last playoff games, he's gotten smoked. I mean, just really hasn't been competitive in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think his record of consecutive non-losing seasons almost kind of hurt him in the long run just because they were a solid team. They were never a great team, and that always had them picking at the very end, middle to late part of the first round. So you're not getting that elite talent in the draft where if you just bottomed out for a year, you might be able to get a player that can change your franchise.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I am surprised that. I mean, obviously, it's good that he wasn't fired because I think Pittsburgh would have eventually fired him. But obviously, that's a bad look.
I agree.
But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you just said that you have an older team. Would you trade TJ Watt? I wouldn't re-sign Aaron Rodgers again.
Mm.
I would try to move as many parts as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to do it right, which the Steelers historically have stuck with their coaches. I forget what the stat is. I feel like they've only had like seven coaches in
Like
their,
three coaches, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, I forget the other one.
yeah. But they're committed to keeping coaches long term. So if I were them, I at a minimum, whoever they decide to go with as their next head coach would have like a 3-year plan. And I'd clean house, sell everything that you've got, and then 3 years from now, after you've kind of built up a younger core with some of those higher draft picks after maybe a couple of middling seasons, um, then you're kind of looking at a quick rebuild and a quick turnaround.
Yeah, no. And look, the Steelers, I think they're one of the best organizations in the league. I mean, they're not like the Dallas Cowboys, just all the sizzle pizzazz. Like they're a solid organization. I think they can turn things around pretty quickly. Um, but with that being said, do you think Pittsburgh should re-sign Aaron or just no? Just get
No,
rid of him.
absolutely not. I'm if he wants to play somewhere else again, good for him. I give him credit. I think he had a much better year than I had anticipated he was going to have this year. Um, but as far as the Steelers go, if you're going to get a new coach and you're going to kind of signal that you're resetting everything, there's no point keeping a what is he 42-year-old quarterback around. I think it's best just to kind of start over and draft a quarterback this year, see what you got with him and Will Howard, and if that doesn't work out, next year's quarterback class looks a lot stronger. So maybe you take a shot then.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, no, look, I thought they had a terrible signing, DK Metcalf. 5-year deal. I don't know if many teams will want him, so I think you're just gonna have to deal with his drama. He might be frustrated, he might not. I mean, who knows? I don't really know DK personally,
Yeah.
um, but gosh, that's tough.
Yeah, especially when they let George Pickens walk out the door and he had the type of season he had too. It makes that signing of DK Metcalf look even worse.
Yeah. Now, if you were Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is always he's weird. You don't know what's in his head. Uh, should teams go after him? Say maybe Minnesota.
Um, I mean, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, um, I'd probably hang it up. Like I said, I know he had a decent year this year, but I feel like the past 4 years or so have kind of tarnished his legacy. And if he continues down this path of going to a team, they do okay or have a bad season, I feel like the only thing he can do at this point is hurt his legacy even further.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Who knows what Aaron's going to do? Okay, let's go to another topic here. Kevin Patullo, he will not return as offensive coordinator for the Eagles. In my opinion, this was the right decision. But I gotta say, I think it falls on Nick Sirianni. I don't know. I mean, I know he has a ring, but I just don't think he's that good of a coach, in my humble opinion. I'm surprised they're sticking with Nick Sirianni. I mean, he had a bad season, drama everywhere. I mean, with that team, you need a coach that can really ride those players. That's just my opinion.
No, I completely agree. I personally think that this past season, um, they started off okay. I think they started off 8-2 or something like that. And then things kind of took a turn. The offense kind of stagnated. And I don't think the AJ Brown drama helped things at all. Um, then once that drama came into play, the play calling kind of changed, and it was like they were trying to force feed him. And I think overall, at the time, I thought that they should have not only traded AJ Brown, but they should have fired Patullo because then you give Sirianni the rest of the season to prove that he knows what he's doing. Whereas they let Patullo finish out the regular season, and obviously they lost their first playoff game. It kind of gave Sirianni an out where he could kind of wash his hands clean of that and say, let's try a new offensive coordinator next year. When I completely agree. I think Sirianni is kind of uh, in over his head. I think he's a decent um, leader, but he's pretty reckless at times. And I mean, having guys like what's that, Big Dom on the sideline and stuff like that, it seems like a circus over there.
Yeah, I mean, yelling at the players, yelling at fans. Just what are you doing? I mean, look, it's funny, but at the same time, the Eagles organization, that's the standard. The standard is winning. It's just a hard place to coach. I mean, no doubt about it. But I just don't know what he does well besides yelling at fans. I mean, really. I mean, I don't think he's a good offensive caller. I mean, he's not really
Hmm.
known for that.
No,
Defense, I mean, he's not known for defense. I don't know. I mean, the Phillies are really about the general manager, and that's it.
yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, I think when it boils down to it, I feel like they're just delaying the inevitable. That like even if he crazy turn of events, they happen to win another Super Bowl next year. Yeah, he has two Super Bowls under his belt, but I think people are still going to question whether or not he's the right fit. So to me, I think that they should have made the move this week, but it seems like that's not the direction they're going to go in, and they're going to give him another shot.
Now, if Nick Sirianni has a kind of a downfall season, I still think this Eagles team is really talented.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they will move off Nick Sirianni?
Um, I think anything short of a conference championship game, given that roster this coming season, they would have cause to fire him. If he makes a conference championship and they lose a close game, I think it would be hard to move off of him given that he does have a Super Bowl. But even then, there are going to be questions if it's another season like this where the entire season is just kind of a circus. But if he manages to kind of get things under control, then maybe that's a different story. But I think that if anything short of a conference championship happens, that they're probably going to end up moving off of him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, look, Shane Steichen, when he has that coordinator, goes to Super Bowls, Wait, did I say Shane Steichen?
Yeah, but I mean, he was
Yeah,
their
Shane
coordinator.
Steichen and Kellen Moore, when
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni had them, he's been very successful. So
Yep.
that's what I'm trying to say. Uh, okay, let's go to the divisional round. Sam Darnold. I think he has a lot of pressure. This upcoming weekend. He's the guy that chokes. You saw him versus uh the Rams, and you saw him against Detroit last year. Uh,
Hmm.
the last two games. He didn't play well versus the 49ers week 18. I mean, it was that defense that really won them the game.
Hmm.
How well do you think Sam Darnold will do this postseason?
Um, for his sake, I hope he kind of bounces back. Obviously, in that playoff game last year, he struggled pretty mightily too. Um, I would hope that he kind of rallies the troops and that they're able to play a decent game. Um, that roster is so loaded on the defense and the weapons that they have on offense that um, I think that he might not be the reason that they win, but he can definitely be the reason that they lose. So I think a lot of it hinges on him, where if he plays a clean game, even if he doesn't have a spectacular stat line, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over and protects the ball, I like their chances.
Yeah, definitely when this 49ers team, I think they'll win, but the 49ers are just well coached.
I
Robert
know.
Saleh and Kyle Shanahan, good for them. But yeah, no, this Seattle team, they're loaded. And if he just doesn't turn the ball over, I think they'll just be fine. At
Hmm.
least this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Next weekend when they play maybe the Rams or mostly the Rams. Uh,
Yeah, I agree.
um, but I just don't be reckless. Don't turn the ball over. But he had 25 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. And obviously, four of them were against the Rams earlier in the season. But yeah, no, he just can't turn the ball over.
Yeah. I like I said, they have so many weapons on offense, even though they might not be household names. Obviously, JSN has had a spectacular year, but Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet are a great backfield that I think he has enough surrounding him that a lot of it does hinge on him, where even if he has a mediocre game, given all the 49ers injuries, I don't think that they're going to have a problem beating them. It's just if he gets reckless, throws a stray ball here or there, that game can turn on them pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So his QBR for San Francisco this year, 56.3, with completion percentage was 73.5, and a total passing yards 348.
Jeez,
So and zero touchdowns.
that's not great.
No, not great at all. Um, again, Sam, I think he, I think he can change the narrative, but you're always going to be Sam Darnold until
Mhm.
you change the narrative. He changed the narrative in the regular season, which I think he's the proven quarterback now, but at the same time, are you that guy? That's the real question that's
Yeah,
left.
he has looked great in spurts, but it seems like throughout his career, especially these past couple of years when he's kind of had a resurgence, that in those big games, he tends to have his worst games of the season. So again, for his sake, I hope that he's able to flip that narrative. Because if not, it's there's going to be some real questions about who the quarterback's going to be in Seattle.
Yeah, and I think he signed a 2-year deal, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. Um, okay, let's go to the fun question. Bills, Denver.
Hmm.
Uh, Between the quarterbacks, Bo Nix and or Josh Allen, who has the most pressure to win that game?
I think you know this pretty well that I have notoriously been a Bills hater. However, however, I do think that the pressure is on Josh Allen for sure, given the context of Mahomes, Lamar, and Joe Burrow not being in the playoffs this year in the AFC. That I know that they're the sixth seed, but it's kind of theirs to lose given the discrepancy between quarterback play of Josh Allen and everybody else in that conference right now. Now, granted, Drake May might win an MVP, but even so, he's only in year two. And obviously, Bo Nix is in year two as well. That I think the pressure is squarely on Josh Allen's shoulders. But when it comes to big games like this, I always trust elite quarterbacks. And I think Josh Allen is far and away the best quarterback remaining in the playoffs right now.
Wow. So are you saying Bo Nix or are you saying Josh Allen?
I think Josh Allen has more pressure on him because if he doesn't win this game, I think they might have to blow things up as far as the coaching staff goes in Buffalo.
I agree. I think big picture wise, Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about this game, I think it's Bo Nix.
Really?
I think so. And here's why. First of all, you're the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a guy, good, great coach, Mike Vrabel, Coach Ryan Tannehill. They were the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bo Nix, the last two games for the Chargers and the Kansas City's backups, he did not look good. And he also came back against the New York Giants, and we know how the New York Giants look.
Yeah.
I think there's pressure on Bo Nix. If he doesn't play well in this game, Denver might have to be looking for a new quarterback. Maybe. I get it, it's his second year, but you look how Drake May looks. We saw Caleb, I mean, play versus the Packers, that comeback. So I just think strictly this game, it's Bo Nix. And I think Bo Nix could possibly press. And he has a better overall team than Josh Allen does.
Yeah, for sure. Um, like you said, it is year two, but I guess the more I think about it, he was much older than any of those other quarterbacks in that rookie class last year. So even though those other guys are in year two as well, Caleb and Drake May are what, 23, 24 maybe. And I think Bo Nix is knocking on the door at 26. So when you look at it from that angle, I guess you're right that maybe for this particular game, he might have a lot of pressure on him. But like I said, big picture, I think it's definitely more pressure on Josh Allen.
I agree. I mean, yes, I think Josh Allen, there is more pressure because he's that guy. He's that dude. He's probably the
Yeah.
best player in the playoffs. I thought he was the best quarterback in the weekend. And I'm
Mhm.
not just being a Bills bias. I mean, Stafford looked iffy. Caleb, he struggled in the first half. I thought from first quarter to the fourth quarter, Josh Allen looked the best out of
I
all of
agree.
them.
I agree for sure.
But I will say this though. I also think there's pressure on Sean Payton. Sean Payton's not known for being a uh good in the playoffs. I mean, we've seen him make some dumb decisions, like not running the ball versus Rams. You know, that big hit, I can't remember uh who hit him.
Oh,
I
I don't remember who it was,
But
but
you, but you, but you know the play I'm talking about,
yeah, 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 yeah.
where the Rams won by a field goal.
Yeah.
Um, I just, I just think there's pressure on him.
There's definitely pressure. Um, but again, it kind of comes back to like both sides that like Buffalo's coaching staff is in some pretty hot water too, where if they don't win this game, I'm not sure they keep their jobs. You don't have any of those other elite quarterbacks in your conference right now in the playoffs, and you're in what year eight of that coaching staff and Josh Allen. And yeah, they've run into the Chiefs a couple of times in the conference championship, which hard to beat them at any point, let alone in that sort of setting. Um, but especially given that those guys aren't in the playoffs this year, I feel like it's kind of Super Bowl or bust for that coaching staff.
I think if they make it to the conference championship game, I think Sean McDermott's fine.
That's fair.
But again, who's out there now? If say Sean McDermott does get fired, I I think you have to. At least me, I would love to more offense. I would go look for an offensive coach. Now, maybe Brian Dable, who knows?
Mhm.
Um, maybe Kevin Stefanski. Uh, but yeah, no, I think there's definitely some pressure. I mean, I thought the defense for the Bills actually looked pretty good versus Jacksonville.
Yeah, for sure. Especially given the type of offense that Jacksonville has been producing over the past couple months. I know that what did they end up scoring? 24 points. But I mean, they've been putting up 40 spots pretty regularly lately. So I thought that they played pretty well.
Now, I think if you're Denver, and you when you looked at the Jacksonville game, I thought Jacksonville abandoned the run and they allowed Trevor Lawrence to kind of play that hero ball.
Mhm.
I think if you're Denver, you gotta run the ball no matter what. I mean, and have Bo Nix make a couple throws, but that run defense for the Bills is not good, and I'll admit that.
Yeah. I, I know that Denver's defense is elite, but their offense definitely is not. So I think it's going to come down to if Denver can put together a competent offense. Um, I think unlike the Darnold situation where he just has to be okay, I feel like in order to beat Buffalo and that ground attack, Bo Nix has to at least be good in this game. He can't have a mediocre game. He has to have an above average game because otherwise they're not going to be able to score enough. I think the Bills put up at least like 25. And again, I know how great that Denver defense is, but I think it's going to be hard to slow that Bills offense down.
And look, I mean, we know the Bills' wide receiver room. They just lost a couple guys. Gabe Davis, no Palmer. Curtis Samuel might be back. Um, but really, Brandon Cooks has kind of changed that offense. Um, so yeah, their wide receiver group is banged up for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the schedule for Denver. Like the quarterbacks they face, they kind of only played one, maybe two top 10 quarterbacks. I mean,
Mhm.
do you count Jordan Love as a top 10 quarterback?
No, not at all. I think he is the most overrated quarterback in the league.
Jalen Hurts,
No,
CJ Stroud.
no.
Okay, so by your logic, they've only played one, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So this is now you're gonna hate me for saying this, but the Chargers, Justin Herbert's not a top 10 quarterback. Maybe talent, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's not a top until he wins a playoff game. Maybe I'll consider him being a top 10 quarterback, but right now he's not.
No, I completely agree, especially given his postseason track record now. He's played 3 games and they've all been horrendous. So until he changes that, I agree with you. I don't think he's top 10. But again, those guys that you named off, I think even though they might not fall into the top 10, I think they're anywhere from like 10 to 16, 17.
Okay, I forgot maybe Dak. I mean, maybe you can consider him a top 10 quarterback, but
I would, but
but
the rest of
sometimes he
the
have had bad years.
yeah, and that rest of the Cowboys team isn't that great. I think Dak is probably a top 10 quarterback at this point, but that defense is like Swiss cheese.
So this is going to be your big test for the Broncos because I get it. They only held the Chiefs to 19 points, but that was when Mahomes and Andy Reid they started to struggle. They were on a hot streak and then they really struggled
Hmm.
down the stretch. And I'm not saying the Bills' offense is that great either, but when they when they can score points, they can score points.
Hmm.
Yeah, I I say now I'm not trying to be super confident, but I said to my friends, I fear Jacksonville than I do Denver. Now that could bite me in the butt, but that's just how I believe.
I would agree with you there. I think going into the playoffs, I kind of had that game circled, and for me, it was whoever won that game out of the AFC was going to go to the Super Bowl. That Bills and Jacksonville game. I know the Patriots had a great year. I just think that they're not quite there yet. I don't think they have the offensive weapons. I know Drake May had a great year, but again, it's his first year in that system. It's going to be his first playoff game. There's a lot of questions there. So going forward, if the Bills can get past Denver, I really like their chances of getting to the Super Bowl.
Go Patriots. I don't want to play Denver. I don't want to play Texans.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. That defense is absurd.
I mean, their offense is bad, but
Hmm.
man, that defense sticking it after the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
I want to switch to some college football. We had some news breaking. Dante Moore is gonna not go into the draft. He will stay uh with Oregon. Um, what was your reaction to seeing that?
I was shocked, like truly shocked by that. Um, I don't quite understand that just from the perspective of how much higher does he think he can raise his draft stock? Because he was almost assuredly guaranteed to be the number 2 pick this year. And I know it was going to be to the Jets, and you can make fun of them all you want. But next year, those same teams are going to be picking at the top of the draft again anyway. Um, so I just didn't understand that at all. I feel like him going back to school, the only outcome at this point is for him to tank his draft stock because he could get hurt, he could have a down year. There's just so many variables there that I really don't understand that decision.
And now Dylan Raiola, I mean, he transferred to Oregon. So whoever wins that job, I think it's gonna be Dylan Raiola. Will Dante Moore transfer? I mean, seriously, I mean, how much NIL money are you gonna get?
Yeah,
Look, I will say this, that's a good thing about NIL money. I mean, players can stay, but if you're the number two pick, you gotta go no matter what.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I think it's foolish.
especially as a quarterback, because when you look at some of the other positions, those guys have certain physical traits that you just can't teach. Where even if they have a down year production wise, they're still going to get picked at the top half of the draft. But I mean, there's been so many examples of guys that were like mid first round projections, maybe even like top 10 projections at quarterback that come back to school to either try to win a national championship or maybe improve their draft stock a little bit more to become like a number 1 pick the following year. And they just kind of fall off the face of the earth. I mean, look at some of the guys from this past year that were projected to be first rounders, guys like Cade Klubnik and stuff like that, that came back to school. Drew Aller from Penn State, projected first round picks. And those guys are going to be lucky to be day 3 picks at this point.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, look, he is 20 years old. I mean, sometimes if you want to get to that next level, you got to be mature. And it, that's my only question with him. Is he mature? Now, I haven't read any negative stuff about him, but when you get to next level, it's really about maturity, not talent.
I would agree. That's why I am very confident that Fernando Mendoza is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. He seems to have all the intangibles that you want in a franchise quarterback. He might not have the biggest arm in the world. He might not have the most athletic ability. But I really believe that he's going to thrive at the NFL level because he seems like he's an adult already at 21, 22 years old.
Now, we knew he could throw the ball. He can move a little bit.
Yeah,
He's mobile, and you know what is he? What 6'5", 6'6", something like that?
he's a big guy.
Like he's huge, so he has the intangibles.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he can. He's accurate. Joe Burrow's accurate. If he can move, he can be not Josh Allen, but something like that.
yeah, for sure.
And it, the only thing I could see him, the reason why he fails, it's because of the Raiders. Do you trust the Raiders?
Yeah, I think for them, the biggest thing is going to be picking the right coach. But now that they have Tom Brady there in the front office, I know that he was part of the Pete Carroll hiring process, but I think that that was more of a short-term thing anyway. That maybe now that they're going to be drafting their franchise quarterback, they might look more long-term. They have some exciting pieces going forward. I know that Max Crosby's getting a little bit older, but you had Genti as a draft pick last year, and obviously you're picking first overall this year, so hopefully they can get some more talent in there. Um, but I mean, the fact that Mendoza might be able to pick Tom Brady's brain on a weekly, if not daily basis, I think is going to be huge for his development.
Yeah, no. Who do you like in that game, Miami or Indiana? I think Miami is so banged up defensively. I think Indiana just rolls them.
I think so too. I thought going into this past week that whoever won that game between Indiana and Oregon was going to win the national championship, regardless of who won that other game. Um, I didn't expect it to be a blowout the way it was. That was shocking to me. But I think Indiana is going to win pretty comfortably.
When they rolled out, I'm not trying to be that guy, but when they rolled Alabama, they really caught my attention. I didn't like, yeah, Indiana was good, but I didn't realize that they were this good.
Yeah.
And I think they only have eight 4 stars or 5 stars, something like that. I
Yeah.
saw last week when ESPN showed that graphic.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, no credit to Kurt Signetti.
Hmm.
Hey, I want your game picks for this upcoming weekend. Do you want
Okay.
to do spread or just straight up?
Whatever you want to do. But we could do, let's do straight up.
Okay, Bills at the Broncos,
Bills, I think pretty handily. I think they win by at least a touchdown.
49ers at Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks win that one only because the 49ers are so banged up. If they were a little bit healthier, I might lean 49ers just because of their experience.
Okay, man, this is such a 50-50 game. Texans at the Patriots.
It's hard for me to bet against Vrabel, but I have a really hard time trusting young quarterbacks in their first playoff game,
Well, this
especially
will be his
given.
second playoff game, but first year,
True,
I
true,
know
true,
what
true,
you mean.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, first year playoff quarterback. That's a good point. Um, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Texans here. Just given that pass rush, I think it's going to give Drake May some fits. If they had better weapons on the outside, I know Stephon Diggs has had a big year, but he's older. If they had some more burners on the outside, I think it might be a different story. I don't think they have the firepower offensively.
Rams at the Bears.
I think the Rams win by 2 touchdowns. I think that McVay and Stafford have that connection. I know I said that Josh Allen is far and away the best quarterback left in the playoffs, but I think Matt Stafford is clearly number two, and I think McVay is definitely the best coach remaining at this point.
One question on Stafford: do you worry about his either fingers or hand?
Um, Maybe a little bit, but not too much. Not for this game anyway. Potentially later on. But for this coming game, no.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean that's Sean McConnell's games picks for this weekend. Hey, Sean, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on, my man. Happy to be
Absolutely,
here.
absolutely. Hey, whoever watches this video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.